So I've been noticing something that I'm sure you have been noticing as well. That things are simply not built to last anymore. Everything, the clothes that you can buy, the phone certainly that you have, even the car, something that's supposed to last a longer time. More so the electric cars of these days. Nothing is really built to last more than a few months, a few years at the maximum. And this was certainly not the case. This was certainly not the case 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where certain things could be built almost even to last a lifetime. So, what is going on? Why is this happening? Who is to blame? That's what we're going to get into. So, hi everyone, welcome back to the Ministry of Guitar. My name is Utkarsh Mohan. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please do like, subscribe, and share. It really helps. So, this is an important topic that has been on my mind for a while. It is not purely a guitar topic, which is the reason why I haven't put it on this channel yet, but I do think it's time because it is tangential to something I've been talking about. Why is everything in modern life so disposable? What is going on? The answer actually is a very, very simple one. It's due to people and companies finding this interesting situation, I would say, which seems like a win-win for everyone, but in reality, I would say is quite destructive. What I'm talking about is this. If you are a person, a human being, if you are anyone, you probably like buying something new, right? What gives you a thrill in buying something new, getting a new shirt, getting a new car, getting anything new, even a small thing, even that small thing that you may buy off Amazon, a little deal that you get. We'll come to Amazon a little bit. You love new stuff, don't you? We all do. What do companies love? Companies love selling more. So for most of the period of time that capitalism, modern capitalism as we recognize it, existed, there was a relatively happy medium in terms of companies sold products, consumers bought them. But the cycle wasn't as frequent as you would recognize today. Somebody bought a camera, it could last them 10, 20 years, it could stay on in the family. Somebody bought a car, it could last them 10, 20 years, so on and so forth. Washing machines, anything. It was a fairly well recognized equilibrium where you bought things that were supposed to last for a long time. Now, it's not that companies didn't want to sell you more. It was just not in the popular imagination that, hey, you can sell more and you can get people, there was a certain opposition in people's mental block that why would I buy something when I already have something that works, right? It's a very, very logical thing. I have something that works. Why should I buy something else? So that was a very, very logical thing. It was kind of how everybody operated. So companies made money, people bought stuff. Occasionally they bought something new. Something started changing in the 1990s, I would say. And of course, you know that where I'm going to go here. The key innovation here is the internet. Now, what happens with the internet? There are two things that happen. There is data and there is connectivity. I'll start with connectivity. Connectivity simply means that many, many more points, which is many, many more people or many, many more computers or whatever it might be, can talk to each other, can connect to each other and know what is happening with each other because data is being exchanged. The consequence of this connectivity, where so many more people and points are connected, and through this connection and interactions being recorded, data is being generated, is that the opportunities to buy and sell products grow dramatically. That's the first thing that happens. If previously you could only buy something by going to the showroom of the thing, physically getting yourself out there, going somewhere, there's always a lot of inertia, right? Even to buy something you like, you have to make an effort. That used to be there. That inertia was destroyed by the connectivity and e-commerce. So suddenly you could buy anywhere, anytime, what we traditionally in the selling industry, in the marketing industry would call a point of sale, which would be the shop or the showroom. That point of sale became everywhere. It could literally be your bathroom, you sitting on the pot. That's a point of sale because you're looking at a product in your phone. So that's the first thing that happens. So today, if in the past I visited a point of sale once a month or once a year, depending on the kind of point of sale it was, like a showroom for something, or once every 5 years if it's like a car showroom or something, tomorrow my point of sale is every moment. It is almost infinite. Do not underestimate how crazy a development that is. No one talks about this too much, but it is a crazy development that your opportunity to buy goes up infinitely. That's a big part of what's going on with the world right now. So, what happens when the opportunity to buy goes up infinitely? People naturally are tempted to buy more because temptation is constantly staring you in the face. Imagine if you are really fond of chocolate and ice cream like I am, and you're constantly going in front of a chocolate and ice cream store, ice cream parlor next to your house. I mean, I could see a difference if I lived next to a place that had. I love ice cream, by the way, so I could literally see the difference in my waistline if I live in a place which is next to good ice cream or not. Right? It's just human nature. How much it's very difficult to not indulge when something tempts you. So temptation has been increased dramatically. The opportunity to indulge in retail therapy, and I hate the word therapy in this context, but I'm using it here for fun. The opportunity to indulge in retail therapy is increased infinitely. That's the first thing that has happened. The second thing that has happened is data. So people not know what's going on. What did you buy? What influenced you to buy it? If previously, again, I used to work in the marketing industry. So the traditional way of figuring out what people like is you go visit a few shops, you ask the shopkeeper what are people buying. Of course, you get retail data, how much sales are happening, but you need to get consumer insights. So you talk to people, you talk to shopkeepers, you talk to whoever. Today, your entire retail footprint, especially if you're buying online, is all there. It's all there. It's all there for the Amazons and the Alibabas of this world. And the tangential things that happen together with it, whatever you may do on Facebook or TikTok or whichever other social media or your browsing, though of course that there are some good steps happening on that we will not talk about here yet. But in general, all of your behavior is accessible to a great extent. So people have better information. Amazon has better information on what to sell you. It knows that every time you make a big purchase, it is quite smart to give you some options to buy a few other things that are related to the major purchase. But since you're buying anyway, you might as well, it just kind of makes sense. So they have figured out what are your triggers, what is the way to tempt you to buy. Let's actually 3 steps. You are already there. How do I catch your interest with something you may be interested in? You not need it, but maybe you will want it once I tempt you with it. So how do I catch your attention by tempting you? How do I hold your attention with some sort of, whatever justification that you need to have in order to buy this, even if you don't need it? Some sort of self-rationalization that I can give you. Yes, I should get that extra pair of pants. I might wear it here. Oh, yes, I should get that little ornament kind of thing. It'll look good, probably look good on my dining table, though I have 25 other things already. You need some sort of rationalization. Nobody wants to be stupid. Everybody needs to be convinced that they are doing a smart thing. And finally, the sweetener. How do you close you? How do we close you? By telling you, 50% off or 30% off, or this is Singles Day for Alibaba, or this is whatever else it might be, 11/11. There's so many different Amazon Prime Day, so many different things that happen. So the consequence is that one hand, you are at a point of sale almost all the time because of your phone. You are in the position to be tempted, and now companies know better how to tempt you. The consequence of this is this. Today, we live in a capitalist world, as we've done for a while, at least in the developed world. The onus in a capitalist world for companies is constantly to grow shareholder value. And how do you grow shareholder value? You grow shareholder value by the stock price going up. How does the stock price go up? When it looks like the company is going to be selling more and earning more money. There's nothing very complex about this. How does the company sell more and earn more money? Give consumers a lot more reasons to buy. And what is in a world where you are incentivized to sell as much as possible? What is your incentive as a company to sell something that lasts? Why would I sell somebody a phone that will last them a lifetime when I can get them to buy something in 2 years because I come up with something new? And then if they spend $1,000 on the phone, Then they spend another $1,000, and they spend another $1,000, another 2 years, another $1,000. Versus I sell them something that lasts a lifetime. There is no incentive. In 60, 70 years ago, maybe business executives would have loved to do that sell somebody a product and get them to come back and buy another one every 2 years or 3 years, but they couldn't because they did not have that many points of sale. People were not walking into showrooms every day. The points of sales were just whatever, however often somebody visited a showroom or someone thought about it or someone maybe saw a newspaper ad or whatever. They did not have the opportunity, but now they do. So what has happened, folks, I don't know if you realize this, is that you and I have gotten trained by hacking our desire to have something new and to constantly be excited by something, because that's just human nature, right? We would love to be excited. We are easily tempted. Because of the incredible amount of connectivity and the data that people have on us, it's very easy to constantly tell us to buy more stuff and give us reasons to justify it to ourselves. If business could do this earlier, they would have done it, but they couldn't. But now they can because of data and connectivity, going back to what we were saying earlier. So what's the point of all of this? I think the key point is to be aware. I do not believe in rejecting materialism. I think it is absolutely fine to have stuff. I mean, look around me. If you want to know more about why I have so many guitars, etc., there's a whole story there. But let that not distract from this particular point. I think there's nothing wrong with materialism. I think there's nothing wrong in having a product, an object that provides you with a need or maybe even a want, and cherishing it and having it and being happy with it, having a great car. In my particular case, having a great guitar, investing in some amazing renovation for your house, investing in a coat that lasts you forever. That this coat seems to be lasting me forever on this channel, as an example. There's nothing wrong with that. I am not saying go become a hermit, live in a cave in the Himalayas, as some people do, and reject the world. I'm not saying that. But on the other hand, what I'm saying is do not be caught up in this rat race, this never-ending treadmill of wanting new stuff. Because 2 or 3 things happen. I've given you the reasons why you are on this treadmill, a lot of us are, why we are so tempted by this promotion and that discount and this Prime Day and whatever else is going on. But it is ultimately a pointless exercise, because the delight that you get from buying something new, if you buy something new every year, every time you buy something new, it's an experience. It's something that you remember, you cherish. One example that I give is I have 70, 80 guitars. When I bought my first guitar, that excited me for months. Now I buy and sell guitars without thinking. It doesn't even give me too much of a high, right? In a way, I'm constantly chasing that high that I got when I was 18 years old when I got my first guitar. Think of your own life. Think of the first time you got certain possessions. Maybe it was a toy when you were young, which could just be something very, very ordinary. But because it was something new that doesn't happen every day, it gave you a lot of value. And today you constantly buy new clothes here, new things there. And you maybe feel excited for the second, maybe just before you pay for it with your credit card. But that feeling doesn't last. It's basically a hedonic, you can look up good science on this one, but basically the science of this is that you will never sustain that feeling, that you will constantly seek that feeling again and again and again, and more so when this feeling of buying something new becomes even more disposable. So this being on this treadmill of trying to buy new stuff and being tempted by new stuff is very, very ultimately not fulfilling. And what's the danger of it? The danger of it is that you make real world compromises to your life and your happiness and your maybe even your relationships, because you are chasing this materialistic daydream. Because it's a daydream, because it's not going to happen. You're never going to be satisfied. It is physically, neurochemically an impossibility, but you're chasing this daydream. The consequences of this daydream are real though. Maybe you are slogging it out in a job that pays a huge amount of money. You don't like it, but you want to have that so that you can upgrade your phone every 2 years and you can buy whatever and you can afford this and you can afford that. When maybe there's something else that you'd like to do which wouldn't pay as much. But hey, then you won't be able to, constantly keep upgrading, constantly keep shopping, whatever it might be. There are real consequences. Maybe you are working very hard on something, thinking I'm working hard, it's great, it's amazing, getting ahead, hustle life, or whatever other hashtag goes out today. But because of that, you're compromising your relationships. Maybe you're not talking to your parents as often as you should. Maybe you're not talking to, friends, significant others, whoever else it might be, just because you want to earn more so that you can buy more. All right? I'm sure all of us can relate to this at some level or the other. So, what I'm suggesting, potentially a little bit like a middle path, or certainly something that works for me, and you can find out more about me on my channel. I've talked a lot about this, is I don't reject materialism. I like nice things. At the same time, I'm not going to buy something just because it's on discount. At the same time, I'm not going to buy something just because I want to impress the Jones or living next to me. I buy something for myself, and I try to buy something new not very often. Because buying something new, buying a piece of material, a product, today we take it all for granted because of the industrial age. Everything, we can get so many things just like that. We have more stuff than we need. But a product, something put together through the innovation and technologies that have taken centuries to evolve, you may take it for granted. I may look at this headphone and think this is not so cool anymore. Maybe I should just throw this away and get the new one because the new one is cooler. But the amount of human effort and labor it took to get here, even though today a machine makes it in whatever few minutes, is immense. You're sitting on scientists' work, people who did work for centuries. So much you're sitting on: materials technology, audio technology, all of that. Just because it's available doesn't mean that it is disposable. It shouldn't be. It is a feat of human engineering. It is a feat of ideas to get here. So what I'm saying is, if you buy stuff, respect it. Just because monetarily it's cheap and you can afford it, or you can work hard and afford it, doesn't mean that you should cheapen the experience of getting something, the sacredness of getting a material possession that you could not have certainly created yourself if you were left alone in a jungle. So that's what I try to do. I try to take good care of my possessions as much as possible. I try not to buy too much new stuff unless I absolutely have to. And that works, right? One of the reasons why I was able to walk away from my relatively high earning career, and which could go on to become much further high earning, is that I decided to step away. I decided to step away from this rat race of wanting new stuff constantly. So, yeah, I want a nice car. I have a nice car. But I am not planning on changing it every 3-4 years just for the sake of it, right? As an example, right? That's something you could do. So, my point here is very simple. Evaluate whether the rat race that you are probably part of, if you are watching this, because a lot of us are in this modern world, let me put it the other way around. Realize the new things that you want to buy is the marginal utility. How much better the next set of headphones is, how much better the next phone versus this is, how much better that next piece shirt or whatever it is the marginal utility of that versus what you already have worth the time and effort that you are probably putting in the rat race? And decide whether it's worth it for you. It's a very individual decision. In my case, it wasn't, but I think it is a decision that everybody needs to make for themselves. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.